usually do, but who knows, today might just be our lucky day. It's loading onto the channel as I speak. And the stream's up, the audio's up, so we're all good to go. Fantastic. Hello everyone, and welcome to round 11 of the PlayStation Pacific Elite Championship here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Lane Everingham, your lead commentator for this event, and this time we're racing at the Jeddah Corniche circuit for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. The 6.17 kilometer 27 turn circuit is the most recent addition to the Formula One schedule and has gained a reputation of being one of the most demanding on the calendar. The circuit almost purely consists of high and medium speed bends, meaning average speeds are up and over 250 kilometers per hour. With the wall so close to the racetrack, any mistake from the drivers tonight will more than likely result in an accident. Overtaking is limited to the 3 DRS zones that lead into turns 1, the slightly banked sweeper of 13, and the final corner of 27. The DRS zone before turn 13 is actually misplaced. It's supposed to be between turn 19 and turn 22. But this is Cody's. So... well, this track was released before the track officially became a thing, so we can forgive them for that. Just hopefully they'll fix that next game. But with it being reasonably difficult to overtake, qualifying becomes all that more important. Which is fantastic, because qualifying here tends to be very fast and very intense. But before we focus on qualifying, there is a little bit of news to go through first from last week's race in Bahrain. The world's only one incident report, but it's a fairly important incident report involving Keeg Duke and BP V8. Now, the incident occurred on lap 1, turn 1 of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, we saw half of it. The other half turned out to be rather catastrophic for the lower half of the field. Basically, if you want to imagine it, going into turn 1, there's a 4-wide scenario. 4 cars side by side entering turn 1 with BP V8 on the far inside. He actually did a pretty big dive bomb to get to the inside of that corner to create a 4-wide situation. He had Keeg Duke on his left, and to Keeg Duke's left there was Hilles in the Aston Martin, and to his left there was NZ Andre in the Alpha Tauri. And BP didn't leave enough room at the exit of turn 1 for those 3 to the left of him. And his rear tyre, his left rear tyre, and Keeg Duke's front right tyre connected, which sent BP into a spin right in front of the 3 drivers to his left, which caused a fairly big pile-up in the lower half of the field. And as a result, the stewards have given him a 15-second time penalty and 3 penalty points. And he's accumulated enough penalty points, so then he has to serve a race ban. As you can tell, he's not here in the starting order, so I suppose he's serving his race ban now. And with 15 seconds worth of time penalties, I think it moves BP from P8 to P10 in the final results. Because, I say I think, because he was desynced with the rest of the lobby. He finished, according to the game, 16 laps down when he didn't. I believe he finished in P8, and with 15 seconds applied, he gets dropped down to P10. But I don't think that's been reflected in the final points table. I'm not sure. Speaking of which, we'll have a look at the Drivers' Championship. Ferrari Pro is leading on 240 points, followed by ACW on 204. The top 2 separated by 36 points in the championship. They're realistically the only 2 protagonists left for the championship. Plebs is third on 183. He's 21 behind ACW and 57 behind Ferrari Pro. He's still mathematically in it, but I just see it unlikely that he'll be able to challenge unless Ferrari Pro and ACW have a couple of shocking rounds. Then it might open up the championship, turning it into a 3-way fight as GeForce Zach sets the first competitive lap time of a 1:29.3. Looking at the rest of the championship, we have Roscoe Arm in P4, followed by Silverfort, Pump, Hillers, Alex, I keep saying Alex, G-Force Pato, BPV8, then Bags Liddell rounds out the top 10. In the Constructors, Alfa Romeo leading on 319 points, followed by Ferrari on 286, then McLaren on 271. Mercedes are fourth on 179, meaning it's effectively a three-way fight for the Constructors' Championship between Alfa Romeo, Ferrari and McLaren. Red Bull are fifth on 168, followed by Aston Martin, Haas, AlphaTauri, Williams, and then Alpine at the bottom of the order. Well, that's pretty much it in terms of news. We can now focus on what should hopefully be an entertaining qualifying session. Alongside me, as always, for this Elite Series is KD 1997. Now, KD, I'm sure you're looking forward to this. It's quite an interesting racetrack, isn't it, here in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, it's very interesting, and thanks for having me again, by the way. Yeah, I've only raced here once here in Saudi Arabia. I could definitely say it's kind of, I'm going to say it because of what you've been following up with in your introduction. This track is very demanding. It's a lot of blind corners, very fast, and it's very intimidating. So there's very no room for error. Now, also, if you remember too, I've heard you use this in commentary in the past, where I've used the term phantom damage, where basically you get damage from hitting the wall, and Jeff does not tell you. I got it from this racetrack because I remember I did league race. I hit a wall, it was the minorest of touches, and then apparently I lost pace. Jeff never told me anything about it, and then apparently I go to my vehicle condition, and then Jeff says, "Oh, I've got damage." Well, why didn't you tell me that? But anyway, long story short. Yeah, this track though, you've got to be very careful with the walls, especially with a minor bit of touch. One minor touch, it will affect your race pace, definitely for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to ruin a good run here at Saudi Arabia. It's like with many other street circuits where you make the tiniest of mistakes and then everything just falls apart. Especially tracks like Monaco or Baku was another one where if you get wing damage, your race is essentially screwed. As Chip has a meet and greet with the barrier at the exit to turn 2. Yeah, there's just so many places here you have to worry about. I mean, the pièce de résistance, as it were, of this racetrack is the opening section. It's probably, I would argue, the most demanding section on the calendar. It can only be trumped, I'd say, by Cota's S section or the S section at Mexico, which, if people know me enough, I despise with a great passion. But here at Jeddah, it's at a completely different level because of the walls. So, as you mentioned earlier, you got blind apexes all the way through, and if you miss one, every single apex after that is essentially screwed. So you have to be incredibly mindful going through that. And if you turn in too early or turn in too late, then you hit a barrier. And all that hard work is basically gone down the drain. So, yeah, it's a tough racetrack, this one. But I think it's quite a rewarding one. When you get it right, when you get it spot on, it's a very nice feeling here at Saudi Arabia. So, as much as it is a painful circuit, it can be rewarding if you get it right. And I'm sure a lot of drivers will be looking to get it right, especially here in qualifying.
Yeah, track position is definitely, well, like you say, it's going to be key with the limited amount overtaking, just because of how much space you get between yourself and the walls, that's for sure. And you're traveling at speeds of about, averagely about 250 kilometers an hour, which is ridiculously fast for a street circuit.
For a street circuit, yeah.
It's ridiculous. And I mean, it's they puts it the narrowest of all places on the freaking seafront of the Red Sea.
Quite a spectacular location.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not disregarding that. It is spectacular, but it's like of all places, why make a street circuit
here
from scratch and near the seafront? As Chip has just parked his car at the bank here of turn 13. I'm just watching. It's like car through.
He's trying to get out of the way of Plebs here, who is in the middle of a flying lap, heading into turns 16 and 17, quite a tricky complex to get this absolutely spot on. When I did a league race here eons ago, it seems like, that inside wall at turn 16 has caught me out so many times during time trial practice, during the race that I did itself. Because it's a corner where you need to turn in early, because if you don't turn in early, you run wide, and then you have to cut turn 17, which gives you a warning. And the warnings accumulate, you get penalties during the race, and they don't help anyone, except for those who don't have penalties, of course. So, yeah, no, that's quite a tricky section to get right.
Yeah, and then there's like I don't know if you've noticed this like I do, but like there's like this little bit of a bump or something in the middle of that apex or that corner of turns 16 and 17. It's a bit odd. It can throw your car around if you're not careful, but yeah, it's one of the bits of the track that I tend to struggle with, I say. Even the first sector I tend to struggle. Even, for pad, because you and I are on pad, it is a freaking nightmare to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to do a setup. Yeah, I have to do a setup where I have to have the most amount of downforce at the front, because I cannot cope with any less than 11 wings at the front. It's just so terrible at that.
Yeah.
Well, at least for me it is.
No, I can completely understand that. And I think a lot of people on pad can very easily relate to that. I think any racetrack with a complex S section is going to be really, really tough on pad, because you're so limited with what you can do with a pad. Like with a wheel, you've got a whole 360 degrees of rotation to play with. With a controller, you've got about, I don't know, 12 millimeters, I'd say, of movement, and that's it. There's a lot of finesse that you're gonna need. So yeah, it's not easy at all. Got yellow flags out on the racetrack for some reason. Riders going slowly in the middle sector.
There's an AlphaTauri, I think, somewhere that was going slowly. Yeah, it's Andre out of field. That explains it.
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah, I saw it between him and a Red Bull.
And it seems that Pato is out of fuel as well. He's currently 5th with a 28 flat. Tell you what, ACW, you're going to give us a guided tour of this 6-kilometer racetrack. We're right on board with the man who is currently 2nd in the championship with a lot of chasing to do. He'll be hoping... Actually, no, we're not. I just noticed he's low on fuel.
Oh, well, there you go.
I didn't see the flashing red light. I thought he was going to push.
He was on a lap before. I think he made a mistake somewhere in the first sector. If I'm correct. Yeah.
Alright, Silverfoot, we'll use you. Coming through turns 1 and 2, cutting as much as you can through that complex, through turn 3, up towards the notorious section, through turn 4, then turn 5, into turn 6, and immediately followed by 7, into 8, then 9. Oh, having a big lift there, into turn 10, where we saw Mick Schumacher have his big crash in qualifying yesterday for the real-life Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Around turn 13, you do have to be careful here. The back end can step out on you. Oh, just like that. Coming around turn 14, up towards turn 15, into the chicane of 16 and 17. Then into a very insignificant corner. This is turn 18. Yeah, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. This is turn 19. Then turn 20. Into 21. And now into the chicane of 22 and 23. Really fast, complex. You have to cut quite a lot. Through turn 24, into 25 here. Then into 26, which is essentially a continuation of 25. And now the final corner, the hairpin of turn 27. One of the better overtaking spots on the circuit. Nice tidy exit there from Silverfoot. This has been a very tidy lap from the Singaporean driver. Will he improve? The answer is yes. He sets a 1 minute 27.583. And I just realised something. Lap data. That would be nice to have on during qualifying. Because I took a glance up to see what his time was looking like. I didn't have it there. That was silly of me. Oh well.
I don't think I'll make that mistake. I have myself too as a commentator.
Yeah, so. Just turning all the stuff on. I tend to forget. And plus, it's that big, it covers up so much of the bloody screen. So, I just wish there was something where you could change the sizes of the stuff here in this, because you can do it as a driver. You can change all the sizes and placement of the stuff on your on-screen display, but you can't do it in spectator mode for whatever reason. It's kind of silly. I think Black Moon might be on an in-lap here.
Yeah, he improved to a 20. He improved to a 29.3, unless he's going for another one.
It appears he might be going for another one. He was up by 700ths in the first sector. Nice and tidy out of 13. Alright, now the chicane of 16 and 17. Chucks it in. Doesn't bother to use any of the inside runoff area at turn 17. He's coming towards the middle sector split. What does the clock say for Black Moon? It says he's down, but only just by 25 thousandths of a second. He doesn't cut anything there either at 23. So there's little bits of time he could try and find through those chicane sections if he wanted to. Coming up towards the final corner on the racetrack. Very low on battery. He might just duck back into pit lane, but if he does, I don't think he'll have enough time to set another flying lap. And it appears he's going to try and complete this flying lap. Black Moon crosses the line and improves by just over a tenth. 12 fastest with a 29.1.
And Pato, meanwhile, is up by a tenth and a half of the first sector. Clock says in the middle, he's up by nearly 3/10.
Rightio, keep an eye on Alex. Marco, rather, that's his real name. As Chip is making his way through the opening sector and makes a mistake at turn 10, but he's still up by a tenth of a second. Pump is making his way through the first sector. G-Force Pato making his way around the final corner for what could be his last flying lap in qualifying. He has DRS wide open, heading up towards the control line. Pato improves for fastest with a 1 minute 27.668. Ferrari Pro, our current pole sitter, with a 1 minute 27.424. He's got pole position by 25 thousandths of a second, and he's just gone up by 700ths in the first sector. ACW sets off on his final flying lap in qualifying, heading through turns 1 and 2, nice and tidy from the Alfa Romeo driver.
Oh, since someone's crashed.
Oh dear, yes, he's done that at turn 5. Oh, and he's right in the middle of the road. ACW.
Yeah, that caught ACW off guard there.
Completely and utterly off guard. As Ferrari Pro is up by almost 2/10 in the middle sector. Well, I don't think ACW can challenge for pole, not with him backing off at turn 5 with a dead Alpine right in the middle of the road. Coming up towards the final corner for Ferrari Pro. Chucks it in third gear. Gets on the power as early as he can. Doesn't brush the wall on the exit. He opens DRS. Heads towards the line. Ferrari Pro improves to a 1 minute 27.205. ACW, he's well down, but he's gone massively purple. He's found 4/10 in the middle sector. He's pushing hard through this final one as Pato jumps up to P2 with a 27.212, only 7 thousandths behind Ferrari Pro. Can ACW pull some kind of magic lap out of the hat here at the end of qualifying, even being impeded? Can he improve? Let's see. Crossing the line now. He does improve. What an effort to find time. He stays P3 though with a 1 minute 27.418. Is his qualifying
with the middle sector.
He's got time up. He's up by 19 thousandths of a second. Chip, his qualifying's done. Hilles is done. Pump's done as well. Roscoe jumps up to P6. Oh, Bags gets... Bags invalidated his lap. That's alright then. Because I was going to say he might have got a little bit impeded there as Pledge comes out of the final turn. If he can improve by a tenth, he can take P4 away from Silderfort. Pledge crosses the line and does take P4 with a 1 minute 27.439. Missing out on P3. Well, what's that? 21 thousandths of a second. Ooh, as Chips off the road. That's at the final corner. Just
going wide,
chilling.
apparently. Oh, look at that now. Close qualifying in the top 4. Top 5, actually.
Yeah.
Separated by just about 3.5 tenths.
It's close.
Just about. Yeah, it's very close. A little over 3.5 tenths.
Yeah, it's Ferrari Pro on pole position, but what could have been for ACW if he had not been impeded by that Alpine at turn 5. He improved by 4 tenths in the middle sector. I mean, that's a huge improvement to find in the middle sector. So, and he found even more time in the final one. So ACW's got plenty of pace. It's just no luck, it seems, at the end of qualifying. But he will start P3. Could be a lot worse. But his rival Ferrari Pro will start on pole, with GeForce Pato alongside. Oh, we're still waiting for P4. There we are.
There you go.
Looking at a chase camera on this AlphaTauri.
Just look at the McLaren.
Interesting.
Just because. Anyway.
Look at that. 7 thousandths of a second separating the top 2. Incredibly close. Especially considering this is a 6.1 kilometer 27 turn racetrack, and the top 2 are separated by 7 thousandths. Really, really awesome to see. ACW third, followed by Plebs, Silverfort, Roscom, Chip, Hilles, Pump, and Bags rounds out the top 10, followed by Tinselman, Keeg, Black Moon, Andre, Zach, and Metz will start from the back. Now, what do you reckon, KD, the drivers outside the top 10 do in terms of strategy?
Oh, well, they could try to gamble on a safety car by going onto the mediums and then go to the soft compound tire. Because it is a one-stop strategy. Tire wear not really existent around this place. It's not really abrasive. Or if you're one of the drivers that wants to go very aggressive off the start, let's say outside the top 10, you can go chuck on the soft tire. Probably the better chance would be if you were, let's say, 11th or 12th, if you want to do something like that.
Fair enough. Rightio. Session counter counting down for the formation lap here for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It'd be interesting to see what the drivers outside the top 10 do. Like, no one should choose a hard compound tyre. It's a bit of a worthless tyre here in Jeddah. So.
Oh, it's a worthless tyre in really any of the DLC tracks. That I'm also including as in Milan, Portugal.
Yeah, that's quite true. Rightio. Setting off on their formation lap now. Let's see who's starting on what tyre, shall we? Well, there we go. Got a few drivers outside the top 10 starting on the softs.
That's almost as I predicted.
Almost, yeah. So
I said 11 to 12 to go on the softs. Okay.
Top 10, all of them starting on the soft compound tyre, obviously. That's the tyre they used during qualifying. First driver outside the 10 is Tinselman, but for some reason he's at the back of the field. Keeg Duke is next in P12. He's starting on the soft tyre as well. They're fresh soft compound tyres, mind you. Both drivers will be looking to be aggressive, try and make up places early, then compensate later on. Black Moon is the first driver outside the 10 starting on the mediums. He has Andre alongside in P14, also on the medium tyre. Same with GeForce Zach in P15, and Metz starting from the back of the field in 16th place will be starting on the medium compound tyre. So we've got 4 cars on the mediums and 12 cars on the soft compound tyre, 10 of which are worn soft compound tyres. Right, interesting to note that. Now, just the race itself to worry about. Get rid of position change, there we are. Bring up the interval so that we know who's where after the start. Now, if I recall correctly, the pole sitter starts on the racing line?
Yes, they start on the right side, which, yes, is the racing line.
Yeah. So Ferrari Pro will be on the cleaner side of the racetrack, which theoretically should give you a better start. But if Pato can get a good start himself, then he's got the inside line for turn 1. There's a predicted tyre stop strategy as well, lap 9 to 12. So let's drill that into our minds. Lap 9 to 12, the pit window to get off the soft tyre onto the medium tyre and go to the end. Should be a fairly interesting run into turn 1 as well. It's a lengthy run, but also it's quite a tight opening turn. So when we do see drivers go side by side through there, there's bound to be just a little bit of carnage. Maybe we'll see a bit more. And yes, there's Ferrari Pro lining up on the right-hand side of the racetrack. So he's on the cleaner side. So he'll have the opportunity to get a better start. But if Pato gets one, if he gets a good start, he just might be leading after turn 1. Everyone's lined up ready to race here in Jeddah. 16 cars for tonight's race. We've got 25 laps in front of us and 10 red lights. And we are underway here in Jeddah, and Ferrari Pro's not moved.
Doesn't even move.
He does not even move, and it's caused carnage on the grid as Pato leads to turn. Roscoe a big send. Oh, and a big spin in the background, and that's Ferrari Pro dropping down to the bottom of the order. What on earth has happened to our pole sitter, our championship leader? He's all the way at the back of the field after not starting at all.
Sorry about that. Chip and Kidu just made wheel-to-wheel contact
through turn 6. Yeah, that was nasty stuff. It was. They're not mucking around, these blokes. They're really battling for position. I am completely lost about what happened there off the line. Ferrari Pro did not move at all, and it really held up ACW. My goodness, he had to take evasive action. Roscoe was in with a shot to take Peter away from Plevs. But Plebs were having none of it. He took the position back. And now we got this going on in the midfield, making their way through the middle sector towards the final one now. Look at them all closely bunched, ready to battle. All 4 of them. Oh, his chip runs wide. That's very wide from the Williams driver. Heading through the final sector now, heading towards the hairpin. Oh, hello, Tinselman. You're running awfully wide there at turn 25. Keeg Duke looking... Oh, my goodness! A massive incident between Chip in the Williams and Keeg Duke in the Ferrari. Yes, we have a surprisingly, just a VSC. I thought we might have seen a safety car from that. My goodness.
Jeez, that Red Bull had a massive run and then just come together with the Williams. That was just insane.
Yeah.
I was surprised they didn't DNF from that.
Yeah, quite true. Typically, when you see impacts like that, they tend to result in DNFs. I mean, I've seen smaller crashes in this game result in DNFs, but no, just front wing damage. Complete front wing damage at that, but no, they're both still in the race. And thanks to the VSC, they wouldn't have lost as much time.
I was suspicious too. Drive the penalty for Chip.
But you're kidding. He just left the pit lane. He just left the pit lane and he got a drive-through. Game. What are you smoking? Are you kidding? What can he do? What can he possibly do in that scenario? He just left the pit lane. Delta probably just popped back up again. And the game's gone, no, mate, you've been speeding. You went through the pit lane and lost like 20 seconds. Here's a drive-through, buddy. Enjoy your race. Welcome to Saudi Arabia. Oh, my goodness.
That's a joke.
That's a complete joke. You're absolutely right. Oh. And Keeg's got a penalty as well. I think he got 3 seconds for multiple warnings or something like that.
Yeah, he got for multiple warnings. Now, I was going to say before that came up, I was suspicious of Chip getting damaged beforehand because I noticed he ran wide at turn 22.
Yeah.
So he may have got damaged from when he made contact with Kidu on the first lap.
Could have too.
Probably,
yeah. That's an entirely fair opinion there, because they made some pretty hefty contact through the S section on the opening lap that could have quite easily resulted in phantom damage, KD, and we'll coin your term. So it's a McLaren 1-2. It's Pato from Players. ACW is third, followed by Roscoe. It's a McLaren 1-2 and an Alfa Romeo 3-4. I haven't said that all season now, have I? As Ferrari Pro makes his way up into 11th place. He's got a lot of work to do to get back to the front. He needs a bit of luck to go his way as well with safety cars, I reckon. Ferrari Pro. I am still completely flabbergasted about what he did at the start. Was he not paying attention to the lights? Was it a start glitch? That's another possibility where his lights didn't go out when everybody else's did. Start glitches are very much a thing in this game. They do happen, as players might launch an attack here on his teammate. Oh, no, he won't here at the final corner. Though he might have a go into turn 1. I think he will have a go. Oh, that's Zach. He's backwards.
Yeah.
Oh.
My front lane.
Well, then, that's venting out his frustration in one way or another. Chip takes P14. Ferrari Pro overtakes Metz. Yes, he overtook him at turn 1 with DRS, probably the most simple move Plez has ever made in his racing career, probably. Because DRS is just DRS, so. Alright. So, as Roscoe Arm gets a 3-second time penalty. Oh dear, he's losing touch to his teammate. And Gilles is closing in thanks to DRS. Heading into turn 13 here. A lot of speed you have to carry through this slightly banked sweeper. It's very easy to lose control, but these fellas keep their cars straight. Keep them off the barriers as well. Around turn 16 through 17.
He's in the barrier. He's at the barrier.
Oh my
at
word.
At the exit of 17. He went sideways there and just smashed his front wing into the wall.
Metz is out.
Crashed.
Oh dear. There he is there in the back of shop. We're right on board with Chip. No safety car as of yet. We're entering the zone now. The yellow flag zone. Through 16, through 17. Oh, it is. It's on the race. It's on the racing line.
And that's not a safety car game? Seriously?
No. Oh, that's perfectly fine. We have a bit of a battle going on here into the final corner. As Ferrari Pro moves into 9th, and I think Pump moves into P8 as well. Pato's down to 6th. So, he's got front left end plate damage. So he lost the back end at 17 and put it into the wall on the left.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I'm sorry. Sorry to scramble my words there. That was almost 3 abreast between Ferrari Pro, Pump, and Tinselman into the first turn.
Oh, fairly tight pack here.
But yeah, he did lose the front left end plate from when he smashed the left side wall.
Yeah, righto. Just lost the back end at turn 17 and put it into the wall. Yeah. Unlucky.
It is very unlucky, indeed. But that opens the door for ACW, though, to get close to playoffs.
Yeah. Remember the last time those two scrapped? Yeah. Wasn't pretty. Hopefully that doesn't repeat. Hopefully. We've got a train forming here for P3. We've got Gilles, Roscoe Arm, Bags Liddell, and Silverfort all in a train here, heading towards the chicane of 22 and 23. Not really a passing spot here, but you can gain momentum heading into the DRS zone and try and attack into the final corner. Roscoe Arm with DRS is closing in rapidly on the Aston Martin, but he shuts DRS to try and not make a move into the final turn. Tactics here, tactics, because he doesn't want to give Gilles DRS onto the main straight. Speaking of which, here comes ACW on lap 6 of 25. Down the inside he goes to take P1. Gilles, he's holding that inside line. They're side by side through turn 1. Through turn 2, there's contact. Can Bags get a run? No, he's been blocked. He's got nowhere to go. Gilles hangs on to P3 just. Roscoe Arm can't fight at turn 4. Oh! Somehow he keeps it off the barrier. He was mere millimetres away from putting it into the wall, but somehow he keeps his Aston off the concrete.
How on earth does he save that?
No idea.
Goodness.
I reckon a whole heap of poo shot out then, because he was that close away from ruining his race.
Oh yeah.
My
Speaking
goodness.
of which, Ferrari Pro's caught up to this train, and so is Pump. So they've been caught to this next. Ferrari Pro has a 3-second penalty too, by the way.
Yeah. Everybody joined the conga, as it were.
The conga line, yes.
The big conga line, where the people at the front just do stupid things. Because that's what I've noticed at the front of every train so far. They've been battling hard and playing tactics, especially here in this DRS zone. where we infamously saw Hamilton and Verstappen come together. Heading up towards the final corner. Roscoe, I'm looking down the Bags looking around the outside.
Oh, he makes contact with the wall there.
Did he? Oh, dearie me. As Plebs gets by to retake the lead. Roscoe moves himself into third. Silderfort's trying to follow through, and he's trying to attack Roscoe here into turn one. It's tight on the entry, but Roscoe gets through. He parks the bus as well to stop Silderfort from getting a run. Heading down towards turn 4 now. Ferrari Pro is into P6. Silderfort trying to...
this is freaking later.
Oh, side by side into turn 6, then turn 7, heading into 8 and 9. They're still side by side. Gilles runs wide as they go into turn 10. Ferrari Pro gets in front into P6, but these fellas have DRS. Will they be able to battle into 13? Gilles is trying down the inside. They're side by side at the mid corner. Ferrari Pro gets drive, and he gets back in front of the Aston Martin to maintain P6 into 16, then 17. Yellow flags are about in the first sector. It's Key. He's backwards?
Yeah. No.
Careful, otherwise you'll get disqualified.
As you say, man, he gets disqualified. There you go.
That was yeah, we could see that coming. Yeah. All right, Silderfort, what are you going to do here? Looking around the outside of Roscoe who covers that inside line.
Oh, no, sorry, not pump Bags. He was trying to send it there. Silderfort.
Here we go, down the main straight away we go. Silderfort, look at the overspeed with DRS, and here comes Bags to try and overtake Roscoe who's essentially a sitting duck without DRS. Into turn 1 we go. Into turn 2, there's plenty of room given. Around the kink of turn 3, Bags gets the car in front and into P4. Ferrari Pro just behind in P6, unable to go anywhere. Oh, as Bags runs wide, but fortunately for him, he hangs on to P4, but he's lost a tremendous amount of time to Silderfort. 1.5 seconds is the gap between him and the Singaporean, as Bags Liddell gets a 3-second time penalty to really rub extra salt into the wound. Wheel-to-wheel contact between Roscoe and Ferrari Pro as they exit turn 13. Roscoe maintains his 5th place. Silderfort is continuing to drive away. He's got a clear track in front of him, and he's going to push to try and catch up to the top 2. Making their way through the middle sector now, heading towards the final one. Lovely aerial shot here, looking over the racetrack, looking at the geography of the circuit and the Red Sea that lines this circuit. Coming around turn 24 into 25. Roscoe and Ferrari Pro will have DRS, but look at the Ferrari. It has got a whole heap of speed. Oh, but it's got nowhere to go. Roscoe gets through. Ferrari Pro looking to the inside into 27. It's tight on the exit. Oh, and they think they're still side by side. Ferrari Pro gets in front, but he doesn't have DRS to help him out. So here comes Roscoe to retake P4. Here comes Bags Liddell to take P5 down the inside into 1. Ferrari Pro, though, is having none of it. He keeps P5 by going deep into turn 1. Gilles and Pump are battling for position as well as they head down towards turn 4. Pump has the inside. Oh, a big crash! A humongous crash! Bags Liddell and Pump, both Mercedes cars, hitting the barrier at turn 4. Oh dear. Fortunately for Bags, his car looks intact. I cannot say the same though for Pump. His front wing is destroyed. Dearie me. Pato now gets white. Yellow flags are about. That's because of Bags going slowly, trying to recover from that spin. My goodness me. Big shunt there into turn 4. It's hurt the Mercedes cars, that's for sure. Black Moon gets by. Andre now has to get by. This might be a bit dangerous into 16 and 17. He'll be a bit trapped. Oh, and good driving there from Pump. Good awareness there. Getting out of the way! And he cuts in front of Pato. Oh, dearie me. Oh, Pato would have had a heart attack seeing that.
I think I had a million of them so far from all the onboards I've been watching.
Yeah, it's been pretty intense at the moment, to say the least. As ACW is playing games here, not using DRS. And yeah, you're right, he is. Well, the pit window was lap 9 to 12. I remember
12,
that.
Yeah.
So it's lap 10, so it's within the window. And Aston Martin is coming in. It's Hillers. On go the medium compound tyres. And it's pit lane glitch. There you go. He teleports out of the pit lane. Lovely stuff.
Glad to see that's still a thing.
And what do you know? Both Mercedes-Benzes are in. Oh dear, could not get it. Oh, and it is a front wing change for Bags as well, so he did get damage. His front wing looked okay, but I guess phantom damage, KD, was on the car. So.
Well, there you go. I'm so glad I came up with that term.
It's a good term because it accurately describes the damage as G-Force Pato goes down the inside of Black Moon into turn 13 to take P6 away from the Aston Martin. Now it's just a battle at the front. Everybody else is spread out because of all the drama that's been happening, which is a bit disappointing because I was really enjoying that. But
I was too.
This battle will suffice between Plebs and ACW up towards the final quarter. ACW takes P1. What does Plebs do? Does he take it back or will he sit behind the Alfa Romeo heading down towards turn 1? He's got DRS as ACW heads in. Fair enough. So ACW is going to try and undercut here.
Get in there.
Plebs.
Very close to speeding.
Ooh. Well, oh, no, that's not a speeding penalty. That is a multiple warnings penalty for Tinselman.
Oh, I know. I was talking about ACW. I thought he was close to getting one.
It seems Tinselman got that at pit entry. He got a warning for pit entry. Really?
Did he?
Yeah, must have. Because he got the penalty and he's just in pit lane, so he must have got that penalty for cutting some part of the pit lane. Oh, what's all this traffic here? At the exit of turn 2, we got a lot of cars. So hang on, we do have a train. We do have a train filming. Rightio. So we got Pano at the front of it. We got Black Moon, Silderfort on fresh tyres. Andre in 6th, who's just got a penalty. Then we got Roscoe Arm, who is hunting Andre. Here we go. He's looking around the long way. Andre won't fight this, and he's through. Fair enough. See, Andre, he doesn't want to battle Roscoe Arm. He knows he's on a different strategy, so he just lets the car in front, tries and follow him as best he can. Right, Silderfort has to get by Pato, which won't be the easiest thing in the world. Pato's on 5-lap-old softs. They're not fresh, but they're not terrible. Compared to Silderfort, who was on completely fresh, medium compound tyres. Ferrari Pro has overtaken Tinselman as well. He did that at 22, I think, looking at the minimap. Pretty solid effort there from Ferrari Pro. Here comes Silderfort down the inside as Plebs goes into the pit lane. So Silderfort takes P3 with a big old wiggle at the final corner. And here comes G-Force Pato to try and retake 3rd place.
Ooh, this is going to be tight up at exit, I think. Oh no, ACW gets comfortably ahead.
Yeah, undercut.
Really comfortably ahead.
Undercut struts. Doing their thing.
Didn't think it was that powerful, to be honest, because I remember the last race we had safety cars.
Yeah.
When I did my race.
Yeah, fair enough. But no, just put his foot to the floor, ACW, and he's found 2 seconds on fresh rubber. So,
yeah,
fair old effort from ACW. Pato, though, he's doing his teammate a big old service as Hillers, I think, has made a mistake. He has. This is at turn 9. As Roscoe Arm overtakes Black Moon as well. Gets going again. Just needs to be a bit careful with his tyres. Chip is coming out of the pit lane, rather. He's battling with G-Force Zach and gets in front of the Red Bull driver. Yeah, ACW got a comfortable lead. He might just try and drive away from Plebs. Be interesting to see how close it is. That was definitely a warning for Pato. My goodness. He cut a lot of 23 as Silderfort slingshots by into 3rd place. Pato, will he be able to retake P3 heading down the main straightaway? Is he going to dump any battery here? He's not using any. He is closing in though.
I don't think he'll be close enough to make a move.
I reckon you're right. He stays behind. Look at all the locking up into turn 1. My goodness, there's been a lot of locking up into turn 1.
And turn 4 as well. That doesn't shock me at all.
Oh, as Andre does not get a good exit out of turn 2, and Ferrari Pro gets by into P7 as Tinselman is in the pit lane. Oh, is Tinselman in the pit lane? Front wing change.
Oh, it must have got damage.
Must have. Maybe he and Hillers came together? I'm not sure. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, that could be a good hypothesis.
Yeah. And ACW, he's pulled out a 10th to players, and pulled out an extra 10th, as G4 Zach gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. There is our race leader. His second and third is closing in. Look at that gap shrink. It's now 1 second. Silverford is quick. You know what? I think he does. Yeah?
He does. He got under a second.
Look at this gap close. It was about 9/10 at the DRS zone, at the beginning of the DRS zone. Now 5/10. Ferrari Pro gets by Black Moon into P6. Now, he's dumping. Oh, he used a little bit of battery. He didn't dump it. He used a bit of it as G4 Zach.
As Zach's made a mistake at the turn 13.
Yeah, he's broken his front wing again. Dear oh dear.
Poor guy.
Well, he's still in the race. That's the main thing. And we have 14 cars, so everyone scores points. So all you have to do is try and finish, and you'll score something.
What's an effort?
Silverford looks quick.
He does.
Oh, dearie me, that was wide at turn 9. And he still pulled away from Silverford. Players driving on the ragged edge there. I reckon it was a warning too for running wide, because he used all of the track and then some at the exits of turn 8. Tinselman's back into the pits.
You didn't get a warning for that, Plebs, for doing that.
Really?
Yeah, I looked at the race today, and amazingly, he's got 3 warnings as well. I think one of them was for a collision.
Must have been for collision, yeah.
The first lap, that makes some sense. Yeah, he had a collision with Roscoe. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, at turn 2, he got a warning for that, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Silverford still within...
And then someone else had a penalty too, I think.
Yeah. Silverford still within DRS range of plebs. Now he has to put up with all the dirty air coming off that McLaren through the opening S section, and that's not helping him. But this DRS certainly helps him out quite a lot, as G-Force Pato is into the pits, outbraking himself Silverford at turn 1. It compromises his run through turn 2. Look at that gap increase by about a 10th or so, as Roscoe gets by Ferrari Pro into P4. Pato will come out in P9 behind Hillers. This S section, Ferrari Pro having to deal with all the dirty air coming off the Alpha through the right-hander into the left-hander of 10 into 11 and 12. Roscoe has not got a good run. Here we go. Ferrari Pro looking on the outside into turn 13. Roscoe holds his line. They're side by side at the apex. They're side by side on the exit. Roscoe has the nose in front, but Ferrari Pro has the inside line for turn 16. Gets the car in front. They touch, but Ferrari Pro gets through. But it's not done. It's definitely not done.
No,
you can see the flashing red light on the back of Ferrari Pro's car. He's low on battery.
Look at the slipstream that he's getting too. That's incredible.
Yeah, it is indeed. It just shows you that slipstream is definitely a thing in this game. It's 100% a thing. Opens DRS, and here comes Roscoe as Tinselman gets a 3-second time penalty, and Ferrari Pro cannot do a thing except just sit behind and try and attack into turn 1. Roscoe gets a pretty good exit though out of the final corner. Silverford, he can't attack just yet. Here comes Ferrari Pro, looking to the outside this time, into 1, and Roscoe does not fight it. Just slots in behind the Ferrari.
Well, I'm gonna go a 5-second delay there. That's interesting. Oh yeah, for speed in the pits. There you go.
What's a bet he didn't actually speed into the pit?
I bet.
That happened to me once.
I bet $100 that happened.
Silverford playing side by side at turn 13. Silverford has the inside line. basically deja vu from a lap ago between Ferrari Pro and Roscoe Arm. And Pleb stays in front. Into turn 16, then 17. Gap is 0.4 of a second as Hill is.
There.
Which one?
Silver Fort. Exit 17.
I see. Well, his wing looks okay, but we don't know because we don't know. Through 22, 23.
He has no damage. He's good. He's good.
Got DRS here. His teammate's just behind, a lap down. Oh, and he switched off his DRS. Look, he switched it off. Playing some games here.
I like it.
Just like the real-life Grand Prix from a year ago. Tactics with DRS. And here comes Silverfoot with a whole heap of speed. And Plebs cannot do anything. Silverfoot into P2. And there is Tinselman coming out of the pits. Oh, big old wiggle there from Silverfoot at the exit of turn 2. Here's the battle for 4th. Ferrari Pro and Roscoe Arm. Roscoe Arm's losing a little bit of touch to Ferrari Pro. He needs a really good sector strung together. Or alternatively, he needs Ferrari Pro to make a mistake. Try and close that gap. Look at Roscoe Arm.
More time.
Yeah. Ferrari Pro has got that first sector hooked up pretty well, it seems. Roscoe Arm still has DRS. Just. No. Got some good battles up and down the field. Andre and Bags, I reckon, are going to have a battle soon. Oh, actually, no. Scratch that, because Andre's on fresh, soft compound tyres compared to Bags on 6-lap-old mediums. Yeah, I don't think Bags will be putting up too much of a fight with that tyre disadvantage, although he can certainly try. It'll just be quite difficult.
Closing in on Silver Ford and yellow flags. About...
Chip.
That's for Chip, yeah. Getting out turn 9.
Gets it pointed back in the right direction. Yeah, he's lost time.
Here comes Plebs. He's got DRS down the main straight.
What can Silverford do here, Plebs?
He turns it off!
Yeah, he's playing tactics too.
I like what I'm seeing here.
So, there's a lot of mind games going on here in Saudi Arabia. What he might try and do is get Silverford to try and catch up to ACW, because that gap, it's shrinking a little here and there, as Zach gets a 3-second time penalty. Oh my goodness, the rotation he got there at 9, it was so sudden. I thought he lost control of the car. He had this big amount of rotation at turn 9. It could have been lag as well. That's entirely possible. But yeah, just this sudden snap of rotation at turn 8. Ooh-wee. ACW, he's pulled out a 10th to Silverfort. See there, Silverfort pushing the limits of the racetrack, trying to use every millimetre you can use without getting a warning. And players just following suit at this point. Through 22, into 23, using that little bit of runoff area on the right there. Players, he's within DRS range, but he won't do anything. Just stay behind, I reckon. See if Silverfort can close that gap. There is our race leader. You can almost touch him.
Oh,
he's that close.
Runs a bit wide there, locking up.
Gets awfully close to the wall in the exit too. Here we go. Let's doesn't do anything.
DRS, obviously.
Yep.
Still playing those mind games.
Yep. And actually, ACW pulled out half a second to Silverfall through that sector alone. And look at the battery he's got too. Roscoe gets a 3-second time penalty. He's got 50% compared to 20% with Silverfall. Pleasant's 50% himself, so he's got a bit of battery. Well, that doesn't help his cause. He just ran wide at turn 8. That's all he did. It wasn't anything major.
Yeah.
But yeah. Ran wide, got a warning.
Obviously, Power's got one as well now.
Yeah.
Probably cutting too much of the. Probably turn 4, I'm gonna guess, but yeah. Or turn 5. That can happen as well. And that gap's now gone under 2 seconds, by the way.
Yeah, it's now 1.8. But I'm just curious to see, how did ACW find half a second through the final sector alone? There he is, briefly in shot. There he is again. So he's within touching distance. Silverford can see him. But he's not close enough just yet. Yellow flags are about. That is a Aston Martin. That is Hilles.
Hilles.
Points back in the right direction. There's his teammate. Next two cars are Andre and Bags. Here they come onto the scene.
To overtake Silverford with DRS.
Oh, so he actually goes for it this time.
Yep.
Interesting. Well, I suppose now he knows he can't muck around. He's got a 3-second time penalty. He needs to get his head down and close that gap. So, but he needs to drive really hard. But I suppose at this point he's guaranteed a podium. He doesn't need to do anything silly. Got a comfy margin to Ferrari Pro. He's got Zach for company just in front. Hilles, Andre battling for position here, heading into turn 1. Andre gets by into P8. Hilles can't fight back, so Hilles losing another spot after making a mistake on the previous lap. He's now in a 3-car battle for 8th place. There's the penalty situation and a lot of drivers with penalties. Silverford, he is awfully close to Plevs. Gap is 2 seconds. Silverford opens DRS. Keeps it open, heading up towards. Oh, and he shuts it and he does a big lift as well. I could hear that. Bit of a lock-up as well, I noticed there from Plevs. I saw the tyre marks being laid down onto the road.
Go for it here in the main straight.
And Plevs moves to the inside.
He goes out of the slipstream. Yeah, he doesn't use the slipstream.
Switches off DRS just then, you can tell because the light on the steering wheel turned off. When DRS is on, there are 2 lights at the end of the rev range that turn on. If DRS is off, there's only 1 light at the end of the rev range. Little cues you can pick up. As Hilles gets by Andre, that is for P8. As they head around the final corner, Tinselman with another 3-second time penalty. Yeah, wasn't it ever. Heading down the main straight, Andre, a whole heap of speed, pulls out of the slipstream to retake P8. Hilles tries to fight though down the inside at 1. They're side by side through 2. Can Bags capitalise on the situation? Not quite. Heading down towards turn 4. Andre maintains P8 a bit wide. There was Hilles losing him just a little bit of time. Nothing major, just a little bit. Coming out of the S section now. Oh, as Hilles runs wide. Bags gets a penalty. Increasing his total to 12 seconds.
Silverford trying to use DRS, but closes it back at midway to the corner.
Yeah. I think with this going on between these two, they're not going to catch ACW. ACW's now pulling away.
Yeah, unless ACW makes a mistake, that's the only crucial thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise ACW seems like he's locked in.
We're going to have to see some mega driving to close that gap. ACW's got a fair amount of resources as well, I think. He's still got 40-odd% battery. Silverford has about the same. Same with Plevs, they all have the same amount of battery also. So they're fairly similar in terms of resources. Also, now it's just a matter of using them.
Also to mention too is that Silverford and ACW are the only drivers of this entire field that do not even have penalties.
No, and they're currently first and second as Hilles is making a move on Andre down the inside of turn 1. Bag stays behind in 10th. Coming out to turn 2, Andre can't get the run, so he stays behind in P9.
Also a situation for the warnings for both ACW and Silverford, they got 1 each.
Right.
So they're alright at the moment in terms of penalties, or close to penalties.
Well, what I'm hearing is that both drivers have at least 1 token up their sleeve to try and butcher a corner, try and close the gap. So, as sector 3, yellows. What's going
that was
on?
Tinselman at a moment, I think.
I see.
Yeah, down the back straight. Well, not really a straight if you want to say that.
Plevs is going to continue to battle for P2, a battle he is going to lose with that time penalty. I'm sure Silderford won't be the happiest man about that. He would like to try and catch up to ACW, but currently he's got a battle with Plebs. Meanwhile, Hilles, Andre, Bags, Liddell. Andre, with a whole heap of momentum, is looking down the inside, but doesn't fully commit to the move. As Hilles leaves the door wide open, they're side by side. Oh, and Andre gets in front.
Tactically, though. Well, tactically, though. Yeah, because, yep, look at that. Hilles has got DRS. He did that tactically.
The DRS detection zone is at the exit of turn 22. Yeah, righto.
27, but yes.
27, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it's the line, like a few meters before the DRS line.
I thought it was before 27. I always thought it was before. No, it's after.
Nope.
Oh, a bit wide there for Andre.
Yeah.
Losing time to Hilles. Front, losing even more time now. Banks was just there. But with both cars having DRS, Andre can't really do anything. Sorry, Bags can't really do anything in P10. Silderford heading on to the main straightaway. He's going to try and pass Plebs again. To help with DRS. And a whole heap of battery. Goes down the inside and takes P2 back. With 2 laps to go. To turn 1, then turn 2. Plebs shadowing Silderford as best he can. Heading down towards turn 4 into 5. Gap is 1.8 seconds. And it's more or less hovering at about that distance.
And meanwhile, Hilles is sitting duck to Andre and Bags, and then that'll translate to that. Translate that to Andre, because he'll be a sitting duck with no DRS.
Yep.
Actually, no. Maybe I might defend this. Oh, no, here comes Bags.
No. DRS OP.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, isn't it? Hilles trying to fight down the inside. Andre gives room, but
Goodness.
Andre hangs on.
ACW's gap has shrunk down to 1.3 between him and Silverford. I've just noticed.
Yeah, you're right. And there's no fuel concern with ACW. There's no flashing red icon, so he's good on fuel. So he's not trying to save or anything. Oh, as G-Force Zach has crashed out. That's at 22, I believe. Where is he? There he is there. Oh, dearie me. He's gone a long way off. So this is it. The final lap of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and Plebs wants a battle. Oh, that might take away the opportunity for Silderford to fight for the win. If there was any opportunity. Yes, you're right. That's at turn 20... Oh, goodness, what is that? 24? Oh, my goodness me.
24.
He's hard into the wall there. Let's see. We're on board. There he is. Oh, that's a big one.
Oh. Yeah, goodbye to the left rear tire, too.
Silderford down the inside into 13. Gets the car in front of Plebs and parks the bus at the Apex 2. He moves himself back into P2. But his chance for a win are essentially over, Silderford.
Oh, and he smacks the wall, too.
Yeah, me.
Thankfully nothing bad, well, at least to my extent. But I'm sure he's got damage from that. And here comes Plebs.
Through turn 23, around 24. The gap is 0.3 of a second. Plebs will probably like the position. Silderford trying to hang on to it on track, but he can't do anything against that. And they can't do anything to stop this man from winning the race. A fine drive from ACW. Got the lead from the start. He hasn't lost it since. ACW will win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Silderford will take second. Plebs third. And what a recovery from Ferrari Pro. After that drama at the start, he finishes in fourth. Somehow he finishes in fourth. That's a big effort. Pato, P5, followed by Roscoe Arm, who was dead on the main straight. You can see there in the bottom left. And Black Moon, P7 will be our next finisher. Heading up towards the line now. Crosses it. And he will take P7. Bags crossing the line in 8th. I don't think he'll stay there. He most certainly won't. Andre in 8th, followed by Hillez in 9th, and Bags rounding out the 10. Pump will be our next finisher, then Chip.
Well, there we are.
That's one way of putting it, Gav. An entertaining, action-packed race. That's definitely one way of putting it. A fine way of putting it. This is what Jeddah produces. I've done a couple of races here, and they've all been fairly interesting to watch / compete in. So, this is just Jeddah. Black Moon, driver of the day. See his performance in the final results screen. But first, podium celebrations. Another win for ACW. He'll close the gap between himself and Ferrari Pro in the Drivers' Championship. With only a few rounds to go, that championship is really starting to hot up. Silverfort, P2. Followed by Plebs in P3. Those two had a bit of a scrap towards the end there. Ultimately, penalties dictated that battle. So, the unofficial final results of this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. ACW, our winner. After starting from 3rd, that start drama, he ends up winning this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Silverfort in 2nd, Plebs in 3rd, followed by Ferrari Pro, GeForce Pato in 5th, Roscoe Arm in 6th, followed by Black Moon, Andre Hillez, and Bags Liddell rounds out the top 10. Pump P11, followed by Chip, Tinselman, and GeForce Zaka classified in 13th and 14th. Keeg Duke and Metz our only retirement. Well, Metz a retirement. Keeg Duke got disqualified for driving the wrong way. So, yeah. There we are. Good race coming to an end. And no safety cars.
Yeah, that's the thing that amazed. Yeah, that's what amazed me.
One virtual. And that was because of what happened at the start. Whatever that was.
Yeah, between Zach, Kedug, and... who was the other car that was involved?
Zach, Kedug... Oh goodness, it happened so long ago I can't remember. I'm going to have to rewatch the stream to try and...
There was so many things
that
I
one
couldn't
out.
remember.
Oh my goodness. Now, we'll grab the top 3 in. We'll have a chat about what happened. I'll be back shortly. Do 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 do. And there's Elliot there. And Plebs. I think that's it. Yep. So he can come in, we can have a chat. There we are.
Oh, now I remember. I think it was Chip that was involved in that 3-wide incident.
Oh.
Yeah, it took me a while to remember, but it's I remembered.
Oh, God. It didn't happen that long ago, and there was so much stuff that happened. You just have to remember. I just remember there was a big flipping crash before the final corner.
Just surprised those 3 didn't DNF as a result.
Oh, it's good to see my PlayStation notifications just flat out don't want to work. I've noticed that Plebs and Silverfort have both joined us. Hello, gentlemen. I love PlayStation, how it just... You can speak whatever you want as well. It should be blue screened on the stream. I'll just be waiting on ACW whenever he... if he decides to show up. Me. But yeah, no, love PlayStation notifications. They're great. Hello, ACW. How are you? That's all right. Alright, with all 3 of you in here, start the podium interview, shall we? We'll go from 3rd, we'll move our way up. per the norm. So start with you, Mr. Race Spec. Plebs, that was not a bad effort from you tonight. It's just unfortunate that penalty got in the way with that battle for P2. But other than that mistake, it looked like a pretty nice drive from our end. Could you take us what it was like behind the wheel?
Yeah, no complaints really. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, apart from the penalty, as you said, that I thought I did a good race, except for split-second decision not to follow ACW into the pits, which I think was a big mistake because I could see on that one extra lap, the delta was like going down and down. I'm like, and he came out P2. I thought, I don't know where he might come out, and I think. There was a few things going through my mind, like there was a yellow flag at the time as well, or around that time, and I thought, should I gamble on a safety car? I had DRS, so I don't know, I just sent it for another lap, but like no tyre left, so and I came out like two something seconds behind him, so that was pretty much the margin for the rest of the race, so and then the penalty, like the first sector is pretty hard in the race to get right every lap. I feel like if you get one corner wrong, you kind of compromise for a few more after that. One of those sections. So there's probably a couple of times I ran wide and should have got a warning, and then I think the warnings I picked up, I only ran wide by like a millimetre. So
that's all it takes.
Probably evened out in the end. So I have no complaints with the penalty really, and Silderfort drove a great race. He was really quick, but I think once again, not boxing with ACW really brought him into kind of that top two battle. So it was a double-edged sword for me. It was just a bad decision. So, but GG to him. He kept it clean. We battled a few times, and I finished P2 on track, which I'm happy with. So I didn't have a great quali. I started my first run too late and didn't get 3 runs in, so I only got 2, and there was definitely some time in it, but overall pretty happy with a podium considering I did sweet FA practice, so
No. Well,
GGCI boys as well, like ACW obviously deserved a win, and Silderfort drove well, so well done to them.
Had to get through the carnage at the start, though.
Oh I don't know what happened with Ferrari Pro off the line. I thought my lights might have been glitched.
Stood at the start for whatever reason.
I was in a party with Marco because we're teammates, and I told him I usually have these guys off the start, so I'm like, I want to get at least one of them into turn 1. Yeah. So you need to get a good start, and we both got good starts, and it was 1-2. So it was pretty good. I don't really know what happened to him. I think he made a mistake. So
I have no idea because he was just stationary, not moving at all. But KD, have you got anything to ask, plebs?
Well, I guess not too much because he did put up all the points I would have thought of. But I bet though. Marco was very gutted about what happened at the exit of 17 when he bashed the barrier. You guys looked like you were in a pretty good spot to get a good whole amount of points from McLaren.
Yeah, I think he finished P5, so it's still pretty good. I think I haven't really looked at the standings in a while, actually. I think we should be battling, I think, ACW and Roscoe for constructors. Maybe if there's someone else in there I haven't thought of. But
it's a 3-way fight at the moment between you lot in the McLarens, the Alfa Romeo squadron, and Ferrari as well.
And Ferrari. Okay, fair enough. What are the points?
So Alfa Romeo leading on 315 or something. Give me a minute. 319, followed by Ferrari on 286. The McLaren on 271, so it's relatively tight. We've still got a few races to go. So 4 of which actually.
We got 4 races left. So.
We got Australia, Italy, Mexico, and Abu Dhabi. Those are the final 4.
Yeah, I like a couple of those tracks, but
fair enough.
Cool. Should be tight, and not a great day for Ferrari Pro, so tighten up the drivers too. So.
LOL.
Exciting finish to the season, I think.
Oh, well, I certainly hope so. It's been a nice season so far to watch. Pretty entertaining. But final question for you, plebs. Next week, we're racing in our home country, Australian Grand Prix at Albert Park. How do you think you're going to fare?
I have no idea, to be honest. I haven't raced the track in a little while. I feel like the curbs. I can't even remember if they fixed the curbs or they're still like auto spin or deathly. But
they're still bad.
Like, I think 11 and 12 is still a nightmare to go through.
I always struggle with setup around there for some reason. But yeah, I chucked it on the calendar just because it's like it's probably the last time we'll get to race the classic layout of Melbourne. So yeah. That it's been around since '96 or whatever it is. So
in before Cody's doesn't actually update the layout for 2012.
Well, surely they do. No, they will.
In before that happens.
Yeah, I don't even think they're that incompetent. So.
Oh, mate.
I wouldn't think put past that.
We'll just stamp this stream, right? We'll remember.
Okay. Yeah, stamp it. Fine. That's all good. Look, I take no responsibility for Codemasters' inability to update.
No, I know that, but...
Anyway, if they did their job, this is the last time we race the classic layout.
Correct.
So, I thought that'd be good to have on the calendar, and obviously start, the last couple of weeks follow the real life calendar a little bit as well, and race it before the actual Australian Grand Prix, which is a break week.
Yep.
So I have no idea how I'll go, to be honest.
Right, yeah. Fair enough then. Well, for here and now, congratulations on your performance tonight, plebs, and congrats on the P3 finish.
Thank you.
We'll move on to P2. Silderford, are you there, buddy? I know he was muted. Hello. How are you doing?
I'm great.
I would be too. This is your second podium. Long time no see. Silderford.
Finally.
Glad that you're back. A great effort tonight, by the way. Coming home in P2 after a solid drive, coming back through, battling plebs as well towards the end of the race. It provided us with a bit of entertainment, that's for sure. But how was it out on track tonight?
Yeah, I got caught up with the Ferrari Pro incident on lap 1. I don't know what he was doing. Just stopped moving. I don't know. I got stopped like the whole way down the straight, and then I had to cut the first chicane. So I was down to like 10th.
Oh no!
And then at that point, I thought my race was over. I was like, God damn it, God damn it. But I actually had like really good pace. Managed to work my way back up to the field. Then at the end, just switching places with plebs. I was pushing so hard trying to catch up to ACW. I was so close at the penultimate lap.
Yep.
Just like two more times I would have gotten DRS.
Yep.
So yeah, very close.
That was interesting to watch as well. That small gaining of time towards ACW provided us with a bit of anticipation for potentially a very, very interesting finish at the front. But still, recovering after what happened on lap 1, you must be pretty happy with this result.
Yeah, very happy.
I mean, it's not a W, but my goodness, coming your
Almost
way through. Almost, that's right.
I was like, praying, please get a penalty. Please get a penalty.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll be thinking the same thing. But
how many warnings did you guys have, by the way?
I had
two, but one of them was BS on lap 1. I ran. I was slowing down because I couldn't see behind you, and then I ran like 2 millimeters wide warning, even though I slowed down.
Yeah,
that's
so hard to drive on that track with 2 warnings. Like,
especially dirty.
You can't push it all.
And it's funky how the warnings work because you can run wide for an eternity and then not get anything.
Yes.
But then you go off for like a millisecond and come back on, and then you get the warning. So yeah, if you do run wide, then spend a bit of time in the runoff area, so then you try and get that warning, because it is a bit BS how it works, but it is what it is, and we just have to put up with it, unfortunately. KD, have you got anything to ask Silderford?
Well, I mean, I think this is the first time I've ever watched you as well, but you were definitely mightily quick. I will say that. But yeah, you definitely had a good effort as well. But congratulations on your P2. You got say you're pretty happy about that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, car felt very stable in the dirtier. I made like no mistakes, so it was very easy to drive.
Oh,
very easy to stick with plebs.
Final question for you, Silverfoot. Next week we're heading over to Australia for the race at Albert Park. How do you think you're going to fare next week?
It's pretty average track for me. Like, I'm not very fast at it, or it's not my worst track, so...
Okay.
Yeah, maybe a top 5 finish, hopefully.
Okay.
I hope. Yeah.
Fair enough. That sounds like a plan to me. Alright. Well, congratulations on your P2 finish tonight, Silverfoot. A mega effort coming your way back through the field after what happened on laps 1.
Yeah.
So congratulations, buddy. Well deserved.
Thank you.
We move on to our race winner, ACW. That was a pretty solid effort from you. It was a bit unfortunate that in qualifying, though, when you had an Alpine right on the middle of the road on your final flying lap. You must have... I guess you were cursing that moment.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I didn't get a single clean lap for the whole quali.
Dear.
Quite annoyed. First lap, I got blocked, like distracted by Ferrari.
Yep.
Ferrari tactics here. And then second lap, I think it was Metz. Yeah, Metz. He ran off in the final corner. I thought he was going to go into the pits because he was quite slow.
Yep.
But he was actually on the lap as well, so we just interrupted each other.
Oh dear.
So,
Yikes.
and then final lap, that Alpine just would not go.
Just right in the middle of the road.
Yep.
I was
5
right
tenths down first sector.
Yeah, and then you clawed it back, though.
Because I made a mistake on the first lap, so...
Oh, okay, in the middle sector. Yeah, fair enough. And you clawed back half a second. And you still ended up improving.
Yeah. Thankfully, because I think Plez would have jumped me if I didn't improve.
Well, you started P3, didn't you?
But my PB's a 26.6, so...
Gee
No
whiz,
way.
that's pretty quick. I was going to say, though, starting P3, you were directly behind Ferrari Pro, weren't you?
Oh, I shat myself.
Oh, that's a great one. I wasn't expecting that. That's a perfectly reasonable response, to be honest. Like you like that, the way we go, and the car in front doesn't go. You could only imagine what you were thinking at that moment. But,
ACW, was it you that went down my inside into turn 1? Was that Roscoe?
Roscoe.
Yeah, you two had a ding-dong battle at turns 1 and 2. My goodness. Between...
I had no idea who it was.
It was Roscoe, yeah, it was definitely Roscoe.
Yeah,
my goodness. But no, after pooing yourself after the start, how was it for the rest of it?
Quite bad, to be honest.
Really?
The car just felt completely off for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know why. Through the first set, I just got no turning, so I just could not. Entire time.
Right.
And obviously, after
Probably heavy fuel will do it.
I had 0. I put really low. I saved fuel in the.
Is it just me or is ACW dropping in and out?
Yeah, I can't hear him.
Yeah, he's like.
Is someone using your internet at home, ACW?
I don't think so.
There you go. Can hear you now.
Alright. I went for the undercut and then just managed the race because the car felt uncomfortable to drive.
Oh, righto. Fair enough. Well, you found 2 seconds with that undercut.
That was like the only time the car felt good. And after that, it's just horrible.
Interesting. Didn't think you had any damage, or as KD would call it, phantom damage, where...
Could have been.
Could have had a little bit of damage, just Jeff won't tell you.
Yeah.
Because he's a moron.
I felt like it was probably phantom damage. Because the car was just not turning.
Interesting. Fair enough. But no. Well, it sounds like then got the best you could have with the car that you had to get the win still. Must be pretty happy with that.
Definitely, especially after what happened to Ferrari. And finally, bad luck strikes for him.
Yep, and
after my series of bad luck so far.
Yeah, you get a big, healthy point swing in your favour heading into the next round. But before we speak on that, KD, do you have any questions to ask ACW?
Well, I'm guessing that since you had that race, especially with Ferrari Pro's bad luck, this must be a big confidence booster for you now.
100%. Definitely.
Yeah.
Speaking of next round, we're heading over to Albert Park, ACW. How do you think you're going to fare next week?
Not too sure, to be honest.
Not a track you've been at too often?
Not too often.
Yeah, I have noticed that with league racing just everywhere, Albert Park has been fairly neglected, which is, you know, I'm not a fan of Albert Park myself, both in real life and in the game, because, well, the old layout anyway. This new layout might be a bit interesting. I just always felt that the old Albert Park didn't really offer much in terms of racing, but this new one might seem to change things up. But yeah, I think in the game world, turns 11 and 12 really put off a lot of people. That is just a horrifying section to go through. You make a mistake through there, you're dying, Chief. That's just how it works. But, no, fair enough. Well, congratulations, ACW, on taking another victory here in the Pacific Elite Series. And, no, congrats on this solid drive tonight here in Saudi Arabia. But, I think, KD, I'll wrap everything up. Not a bad one.
Yeah, not a bad one indeed. It was an interesting Grand Prix.
I think that's just what Jeddah does. It just makes interesting races. It's just a Jeddah thing, I guess. But I think, everyone, with the race and the interviews finally done, it's time for us to end the stream. Tune in throughout the week, as we've still got plenty of racing to come here on Race Spec Esports, but for Pacific Elite, we'll have to wait until next week. Until then, I've been Lane Everingham. My co-commentator, as always, is KD1997. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you for round 12 of the championship at the Albert Park Street Circuit for the Australian Grand Prix. Goodbye.